Okay, everybody. So, what time is it? Let me see. All right, it's 4:12, and I am parked outside my daughter's job. Today, I am doing a driving lesson with my daughter. My daughter's 26. I wasn't 26 till I got my license either, and my older sister Renee doesn't even drive, and she's like older than me, so yeah, she's still practicing, and I'm letting her take my car. She's doing so good. She's doing so very good. Yeah, I'm wearing my Trump 45. It ain't a mistake, snowflake. After the whole election thing, it left me confused for a few days. You guys will notice that I wasn't really posting anything. I wasn't really getting on YouTube. I didn't know what to say. And honestly, as of a few hours ago, I was like just so down and out from this whole COVID thing. I was like so depressed from it. Like it was really getting to me. Like just the whole fact that nothing is going right. Nothing is even the most simplest things that brings income were not working. Like the lockdowns are so bad right now that it really started getting to me to where I just was like, maybe it's just not the right time. But thank goodness for my business partner, because she believes in everything that I'm doing, and she was like, no, there's a way, and we found a way. And so I'm a little more uplifted because we are bringing on another young lady, and this is going to be awesome. She's going to be around us all the time, so this is going to be awesome. This is like something that's really going to happen. We're really putting this into motion. So, and she has her own business, but she doesn't want to just do her own business. She wants to actually find out what we're doing. And so there's a lot of opportunities out there for all of us. And she's a very business savvy, outgoing person. So I think this is going to be a perfect match. And it sounds as though she needed us too. So that's great. So I guess for my free time, I want to just explain what I almost gave up. Don't get me wrong. I'm an author. I'm going to brand my character traits. That's something that I will do. But the free movement was something that I was going to kind of put on hold and not do classes or workshops right now. And I was mostly going to focus on myself, which I'm still going to do. I'm still going to be focusing on myself, but bringing someone else on board is allowing us to make a few more moves that we wouldn't have been able to make without somebody else coming on board. So we found somebody perfect for it. And so it's going to be very comfortable, very good in there. And yeah, so I can finally start to think. And then today I got a wonderful call from this lady named Lisa. I won't give you your last name away because I'm putting these all up on my social medias. But I had a very good phone call with her, and she's got a gang of grandbabies. And so just to talk to somebody about what I do again after all this COVID stuff is giving me a newfound sense of what am I doing? What am I doing trying to put something else on hold? I still have time for me, and having someone else around is going to give me more freedom than I already have. So it's wonderful. So yeah, a lot of good things have been happening just as I was starting to lose faith in everything that I thought I'd been set forth to do for, purposes of God. Like, I don't know if you guys may switch the channel now that I said it, but like, I'm not a religious person. I've never really gone to church, but it doesn't mean that I've wanted to be a bad person. No, I've been a good person. As a matter of fact, I feel energy, and when I'm in a church, I feel negative energy, and I start to look for where that negative energy is coming from. And if I if I see somebody and I look at their character traits and I can pretty much assess it correctly, and then I start to notice other character traits around me, and I just realize church has a lot of bad people in there, and they're coming and they're talking all higher than thou, like they're just such good people, and they come in there religiously, and so all the church thinks they're good and everyone else thinks they're good, and it's like I see different. And so I've been really sensitive on that. And so, not to say I talk about God. I always say I'll talk about curling irons, what kind of curling iron I want for 30 minutes. Why wouldn't I speak about our Lord and God? And give him time and say stuff about him, and not say it in a way of, oh, I'm being embarrassed, oh, I'm not a Jesus freak. That's stupid. It's stupid that people even feel that way. You should be able to talk about whatever you want to talk about. So I will say that it gave me a newfound sense of everything, and so I'm back on track, and the free movement is going to continue. I'm going to try and acquire some grants, though I'm not really going to try and put my movement out there as much until I acquire a grant. But I will keep it going. I will keep the office. I will keep the phone line. I will keep my ads going. I will keep my internet and all that stuff going. I will keep all that going because there is a purpose, and I didn't start this just to give up on it, and so I just need to tough it out a little bit. COVID is not going to stop me from doing what I need to do, and I will keep doing what I need to do. Just knowing that I'm going to be doing some classes for some kids makes me so excited about that, because I will establish a relationship with all of these kids. They will want to continue to do crafts with me just because I'm super cool. So, yeah, but I'm just excited that I'll be able to talk about character traits again, and not just from my book, but on a standpoint of what we all need to learn about them. I was doing a meeting today, and it turned really emotional. It turned very, which all of our meetings will, because that's what we do. We want to help. We really want to find out what you want. It's all about you. And so we did all that, but we all touch basis on what life is really about. What are the important things to life? What should you fight for? What should you make wise decisions about? And there's only one person that's going to judge you. So choosing wisely is the best thing to do, because you will have to face it eventually. Character traits. That's what I should be talking about right now. Character traits are something that we all face. I learned about character traits being a dancer. I've been analyzing character traits, though, even as a child, because I was abused as a child, and I always wondered why. And so I observed. That was my thing. And I think it was because of the placement of how I was born into the siblings I had. My placement, I was more quiet and shy and more suppressed. I suppressed myself because I had so many kids around me, and we were a large family. My mom had a good job. My stepdad at the time had a good job, but there was all kinds of different abuses going on. And so that's another story, which I will eventually write a book about, just my abuse. I did write a book about character traits, although it has a little bit of, like, the book started like 20 years ago. And when it first started, I was writing my feelings down on paper, and it was just about the character traits that I was actually hustling in a strip club. And so it was like the seedy ones. But then I started realizing that those seedy ones had different character traits too. So I came up with 50 men character traits and 50 women character traits. Traits that women use and traits that men use all the time. Now, we all have separate traits. We all have like 3 or 4. I don't know how many I have. I'd say I probably have like 7 or 8, but the more, we all have one that dominates us. Mine is obsession to character traits. I'm almost, and why I say it's a fault is because it's very good to analyze character traits. It's very good to know who you are talking to and who you are as a person, because you have to look at your own traits. But mine is to a fault because I can't turn off the analyzing, because I want to really speak to you correctly. I don't want to sugarcoat. I don't like to lie even a little bit. And so when I speak to you, I'm listening and I'm taking 100% of what you're saying. But those things that you're saying, they have to also exist in other areas. Like, you can't say, I'm a California baby, but then say you grew up in New York. Like, no, you're a New Yorker. You love California weather, but you're not a California baby. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, maybe that wasn't the right one. Maybe that wasn't the right one. Let's see. I don't know, maybe you guys do understand, but seriously, it's like people interpret things differently, so you have to be careful on how you say things to people, because they may be taken a wrong way. And I think that's a lot of times why we get into fights, or why we don't say anything but we end up resenting people later, is because we didn't understand what they were saying. And so that's what I mean by I want to understand 100% what you're saying. I want to be able to read in between your lines. Like, if you're saying something very forcefully, like, don't try and change my mind, but you're not saying it. But then I notice a sense of fueled anger from the past, or resentment of something that happened in your past. If I feel like there's something there that's curving you in that direction, I'm going to sense that. I'm not going to stop there and let my guard drop and be like, or let my guard be there and be like, why did, take offense to that, because maybe you're being that direct because of a drama, a traumatic experience that you had in your life. And that's why you're saying for you, and you're saying that assertively, because it brings you anxiety. And so that anxiety comes out. That's anxiety that's bringing it so forcefully. It doesn't mean that that you're just an angry, forceful person. It just might mean that one subject still gets to you. And I get those. I read into things, and that's what I'm saying by looking at the situation. Character traits are not born. Personalities are not born, but personalities we have before we establish a character trait. Most of us in life are learning from birth about character. And once we get a certain age in life, and it's very young, it's very young, we get our character. And that character stays with us. We could perfect it. People have changed character because they've adapted, or they've realized what they were doing. And so they've changed. That's why a lot of Democrats are becoming Republicans right now, because they've realized what was going on and that they were just taught wrong. So that's what I do. That's what I try and teach people to do. And some people don't understand what I mean by that at first. And so I explain it to them in that sense. Like, I see things. I see things other than I listen to vocal tones and breath. Like, when people get really frustrated, they get short breath, and panic sets in because they can't talk the way they want. They get really frustrated. So, and things come out a lot faster. They just snappy and stuff like that. So if you can see that within your own self, then you can step back and say, okay, Take a breath. All right. I'm not going to let that frustration get to me. I'm going to speak calmly. I'm not going to let that person piss me off. And that's what happens a lot. And you're just gonna cool off. But those kind of things you need to understand. When a therapist gives you activities to go home and try, like, oh, try this, like Serenity Now, like on Seinfeld, Serenity Now. So when that whole episode where they were like Serenity Now, and Seinfeld was saying, or not Seinfeld, but what was the crazy guy? What was his name? Kramer. When he kept saying it, it was funny because that is something that therapy was teaching him. But seriously, when you go to therapy, they give you things to work on to help you in doing activities to release that issue that you're having. And so that would be what I do, but I make you do your own work. I just help you understand other people around you, and I help you understand what you're going through. We all stop because nobody talks about it. Nobody talks about what they're going through inside. Nowadays, we are, though. I've been seeing so many grown, strong, street men coming out and really just putting it down, like how things are supposed to be, how we've gotten so lost. And I love it. I love it because there's such strong forces, such strong men right now. We need that. And for our men out there to watch that and for them to become such a big, strong force, it makes me proud to see that, because we needed some men like that to come out and really make our young men realize, and even our old men realize what's going on. And same for women. We need that. Like, let's say Candace Owens. I love Candace Owens. There's a few ladies that I like, as far as in news we're speaking, that I really like to listen to. But I like to listen to how they became woke, or how they are trying to make other people become woke. I love that. I think that's absolutely wonderful, because that's what I'm trying to do, but on a different thing. I'm trying to make people become more woke on character traits, because if you could realize your own character traits, you might be able to save your family, your marriage, your sibling, your adult, your children, whatever. You may be able to understand that all more. And then you'll be able to understand their character traits. You got to look at their past. You got to look at their placement in siblings. And what I mean by that is, I was the second child. So the first child was the one that was loved and got away with everything, and they did too much for her. They were the first child is always the one that the most parents make their most mistakes with. Second child is the more coddled one, but mine was through a divorce, through a separation, and a new marriage. So mine was turmoil through the whole pregnancy, turmoil through birth, through growing up as a very baby. It was turmoil. So that's what I went through, and that was my placement. That's where I was placed through all of that, as far as in a family. And then there was my little sister, who was the new addition to a new family. So once again, coddled, beautiful first child. So it's placement is very important. Now, I can handle myself, and I've been through therapy as a child and fought through all of that. So I could tell you right now, you can get through it, but you need to understand a lot of people have issues because of placement. When you understand placement with your siblings and your parents, and you understand generational abuse, whatever generation you're in, there is some abuse. Find out what that abuse was for your generation and really look at that, because that's going to place you, that's going to answer a lot of questions to what you've been through in life. So placement in life, in siblings, generations, and then character traits. Learning your own character traits, learning other people's character traits. Those are the most important things to keep yourself not only safe and be able to understand people in life and to get along and to be able to keep a job, because that's the number one thing, is you don't understand who you're working with. And so a lot of you are CAD and will do stuff to them, but some of y'all just get suffered and abused through it by someone who just bullies you at work. And once you learn about placement, you'll be able to understand and how to talk to that person and get them to understand that you understand what's going on. So that's what we do. That's what we do with the free movement. And even if we're not doing workshops, if you called my office, I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to talk you through it. We're going to always have an office now. And so we'll have somewhere for you to come and talk to us. If you want to learn how to do business, we know how. We got our nonprofit. We did it all on our own. We did everything from scratch. I did my bylaws. I did my articles of incorporation. I did my business plan. It was 23 pages. And then I made it down to 9 pages. I had to mentor myself. Let me be your mentor now. Let me show you what I did. And if I don't know what to do for what you're doing, we have people to help you. I can introduce you to my mentor. He'll help you. I want to open up all my opportunities and give it to you guys. Any opportunity you guys have, we can all collaborate. Everyone can. We just brought a company on, a moving company. So I will be advertising that a lot. I think it's called Acting Up, but I don't even want to say anything because I think it is. I'm not quite sure. That's what she said. It's a cool little name though. But, I think it is Acting Up. I think it is. But anyways, they're moving company and they're starting to grow really big. And so I'm going to possibly be doing some opportunities of hiring. If you need some help moving, there you go. We got it for you. So there's a lot of opportunities though. We are here and that's what we do. We started from scratch. We were thirsty for it. We wanted it. We were hungry. We went out. We did everything. It took me 5 months to do my business plan, but it won't take you 5 months because now we know what to say to you. We know what we weren't told. My mentor could have just cheated and told me. I was smart enough to catch it all, but he has given the same spill to 1 million people before me. So do you think he's going to give me all the knowledge? He doesn't know if I'm going to take his advice. He wanted to see if I was really hungry for it. And I showed him I was. I showed back up 5 months later with 23 pages of a business plan. And I kept in contact with him, but I told him I was ready to show him my business plan 5 months later. I'm just letting you guys know, anything out there, you can do it. I'm doing it. I come from a background of abuse. I come from a background of the exotic dancing world. I come from a background of hustling. I've been a hustler most of my life, and I've seen what's going on. Oh, my daughter's here. I gotta go, you guys. My daughter's here. I'm gonna be giving her a ride today. So I guess this video is over. I will see you guys all later, and I'll talk to you guys more about everything. Maybe I'll throw a video on here of my daughter's driving later. Is Joseph coming? Okay, yeah. All right, everybody, you want to say bye? She works in a good job. I should put a mask on too. You know, it is mandatory to wear a mask everywhere. Can you believe that, everybody? You have to wear a mask outside, walking around outside now. That is just bullshit. I'm not going outside. I'm going to revolt. All right, bye, everybody.